Hi everyone, I'm Rincey and this is Rincey Reads. Today I'm going to be doing a book review on And the Mountains Echoed by Khaled Hosseini. This is the third book that I've read by him. He's probably most well known for writing The Kite Runner, and he also wrote A Thousand Splendid Suns. I completely loved both of those books, so I knew I was going to have to read this book, and I really enjoyed this book as well. The story starts off in 1950s Afghanistan, and you're following this young boy named Abdullah and his younger sister Perry. They are extremely close. They are basically best friends, and something happens to them where their family is forced to separate them. And then throughout this entire book you are just following them as well as characters adjacent to them throughout time up into like basically modern day. I think the latest chapter is in 2010, and just seeing both how their lives have evolved as well as the lives of the people adjacent to them, as well as how life in Afghanistan has evolved. This was a super interesting book. I went into this mostly blind. I just picked this up because I knew I would love it, or I loved his other books, so I had a strong feeling I was going to like this one, and I knew nothing about the story going into it, which I think made it that much more interesting for me. This is so different from Khaled Hosseini's other books, so don't go into this expecting The Kite Runner, don't go into this expecting A Thousand Splendid Suns, because it's not that. It's something completely different. The story jumps around in time as well as changes perspectives in every chapter, which normally is something I don't like, but I actually really liked it in this book, partially because when you are changing perspectives, you're not necessarily losing the main storyline thread. You are just getting different pieces of the puzzle given to you, and then when you finish the book you end up having like the full puzzle in front of you, which is really well done in this book. It's something that gets a little bit messy in the middle, but I feel like by the end of this book it totally pays off. At the beginning of every chapter you're given a season and a year, and you're not given anything else, which can be a little bit unnerving because you don't know what country you're going to be in, you don't know which characters you're going to be following, and a lot of times the character that you're following isn't necessarily like a new character, but you don't always know their relation to the other characters until a little bit into the chapter. So again, this felt a lot like putting together a puzzle. Like sometimes when you're working on like those giant 1,000 piece puzzles, you like start on the puzzle and you get working on it and then you stop because you don't really know where to go from there. So you end up working on like a different part of the puzzle, and then at the end you kind of like put all of the different pieces or the different parts that you've made together to make the complete picture. That's what reading this book felt like to me. But this book is just really beautiful. The writing in here is great. There's so many great quotes in here. I put so many quotes on my Tumblr. If you follow me on Tumblr, you probably saw there were good 5 to 10 quotes that I put on my Tumblr over the course of reading this past week. But I think Khaled Hosseini's greatest strength is just showing the complexity of the experience of growing up in Afghanistan, especially looking at it from an outsider's point of view and seeing the situation, and then looking at it from an insider's point of view and seeing a completely different situation. I just really enjoyed his books. I feel like, again, it's really hard to compare his books because they're all just so different. They all deal with Afghani people, but they cover very different things about the Afghani experience and growing up as an Afghani person in Afghanistan as well as outside of Afghanistan. So I feel like you can't really compare these books, and I feel like the best thing that you can do when reading his books is just read them as their own individual work and don't compare them to each other. Don't expect the same experience out of all of them, and just take what each book is giving you and enjoy it for what it is and what it has to offer you, as opposed to just expecting another Kite Runner. So in the end, I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I totally recommend it, especially if you've read his other books. I feel like you're going to like this book, again, as long as you aren't trying to have it be another Kite Runner. But I think that even if you haven't read his books yet, this is a perfectly good place to start off. I don't think there is a bad place to start off with his books. Just pick one up and read it and enjoy it. They are all heartbreaking for different reasons. They're all devastating for different reasons, but I feel like this one had a little bit more hope to it and happiness to it than I saw in his other 2 books. So yeah, those are my quick thoughts on And the Mountains Echoed by Khaled Hosseini. If you've read this book, feel free to leave a comment down below letting me know what you guys thought of it. Or if you've read his other books and you have a question about this book, feel free to leave that down in the comment section as well. So yeah, that's all I have for now, and thanks for watching.